What's up, guys? Welcome back to JSick Poker, where I give you guys tips, tricks, and strategies on everything PLO, as well as Texas Hold'em. Today I'm going to review a session from TCH. This is a PLO cash game, 5-5-25 PLO. All right, so let's get into it. And before I do, hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are looking to get better at PLO or Hold'em, because I'll be coming out with strategies every single day. Now let's go, baby. All right, so we're playing 5-5-25 PLO. We got, let's see here, RY guy in the straddle under the gun. Carter is in the small blind. Boyd pots it up with ace-ace 9-8, single suited. Really, really good hand, obviously, from the cutoff. We got Rye guy just flatting from under the gun, and Carter is going to call as well. You know, if I'm Rye guy, I do like potting it here. GTO-wise, that is definitely the play. But he does decide to call. I think he might be afraid of potting and then seeing a flop out of position two ways. It could be tough. So I don't mind playing some small ball and mixing it up here and there. We go to a flop.
And then Rye guy with the ace, king, king.
This is going to create some fireworks. Oh, I'm surprised.
He just decided to call here.
Flop is Jack 10 deuce rainbow. Rye guy has an overpair with the backdoor flush draw. Boyd flops a pretty strong hand here. Backdoor flush draw with an overpair with an open ended. I do expect him to bet this flop here.
Actually, for both Rye guy and Boyd.
Oh, yep, Boyd. Yeah.
And he does go ahead and he does pot it. All right, yeah, I don't mind it. Build a pot now. Even if someone does have two pair, you could potentially get weaker two pairs to fold, like 10 deuce, jack deuce. Other hands like queen, queen, 8, 9, queen, queen, king, X can potentially call you that you beat as well. There's a lot of turn cards you can just get it in on. Obviously if you hit a queen, a 7, or backdoor clubs.
It's not like getting it in pre.
Rye guy now left with a decision here, what to do with his overpair and backdoor flush draw and gut shot. I would just prefer just to, it's a tricky spot. You got to try to figure out what Boyd has here, what's his range. Bottom of his range is probably going to be a hand like this, ace-ace 9-8. At least sets two pairs with straight draws. So I actually would prefer a fold here if I'm Rye guy facing a pot bet. There's almost hardly any good turn cards for you. Even if you backdoor a flush draw, that can just get you in a lot of trouble.
Oh, he's has a raise. This is very interesting here.
I don't know if it's
all right, and he decides to get it in. He is gambling versus Boyd here, and luckily for him, he's actually only a 41% favorite. But I do not like the all-in. You don't beat anything.
Very, very close.
It's purely a drawing hand, and the draw is not a good one. It's a gut shot.
Rye still has the gutter.
But he's here to gamble. He's on, TCH, so he's here to play.
Yeah, Boyd does have the open ender.
Rye guy's ace is dead, so
he sees the bad
news. These
news.
are this close because the card reader is reading what's left in the deck.
But he's actually not that bad of a favorite because he could hit a king, a queen. He could hit a backdoor flush draw.
It's probably more in that 70-30 range.
And right off the bat here, we have a massive pot, $3,400
pot is now $3,410 at 5-5-10 with turn is a queen on the first board. He takes it down. Wow, and they just run it once. What a sick turn. Bad beat.
Wow.
Rye guy gives Boyd a bad beat there. But hey, what are you going to do? Well played by Boyd. Let's get on to the next hand.
And he flops the set.
All right, here. So we've got Rye guy. Actually, let's see here. All right, so Becca limps in with Ace Jack 9-2, which is a pretty bad hand. Rye Guy opens with 10-10, 9-8, single suited. I do like it. Everything's connected. Gary calls with 9-9, 7-6. I like the call. You have no repair with everything is connected, and you have a potential flush draw. Becca just like folding this hand. Everything's gapped and disconnected and no suit, but you know, just here to gamble, I guess.
Premium, but it's also because of its suit.
All right, flop is an action flop. We have 10-4-5 with 2 hearts. Gary flops a open-ended with a 9-high flush draw with a potential set draw, and Rye Guy flops a top set with the backdoor flush draw. Definitely a hand you've got to protect here.
Like not
Let's see what happens.
Trying to get it heads up as possible.
And then he flops the set.
Yeah, and he actually bets really small, 1/3 pot into 2 players. I really don't like it. I would prefer to see either a pot or a check jam. Reason why is because there's so many draws out there. I mean, there's straight draws, flush draws. Someone can have, you know, 2 pair or a lower set. And you really want to charge those hands, so I don't like that really small bet. Of course, if you're Gary, you got to come in here. No point in raising. You want to try and realize your equity.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, if he would have just checked, Gary may have even bet, sensing weakness, and then Rye Guy could have check jammed all in and gotten all the stacks in pretty decent favor. Turn is a 7. Wow, Rye Guy turns a backdoor open-ended with the flush draw with top set. He is an absolute monster. And I would expect him to continue bombing this turn. I would just bet pot here.
Ooh, this actually might keep Gary, and he turns a gutter in a pair of 7s. Gary might peel another card here.
And he actually bets 2/3 to $300. I feel like Rye Guy is used to hold'em. Guy, this is not hold'em. This is PLO, where people are going to have a ton of hands to call you with. You've just got to pot this turn.
He will.
Gary definitely not going anywhere with his open-ended, with this flush draw. I don't mind the call.
Gary actually...
You have position. You could potentially bluff a bunch of rivers. But that is the absolute worst river for him in this spot, because Rye Guy rivers the backdoor flush, whereas Gary rivers a 6-9 for the straight. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah.
If you're Rye Guy, I think you just have to continue betting. You know, a 6 gets there, any straight, potentially Jack 9, 6-9. I think you can bet and then just bet fold if the guy goes all in.
Hand is over. I think Rye Guy might check call here.
Let's see what he does.
Bluff catcher. And no, he's going to try to get value.
He bets 300, really small, 1/3 pot into that river. I think his thinking is to bet and to potentially bet fold if the guy goes all in. I would prefer to bet at least half pot or 2/3 to try and get straights to call you.
About to get value from
because the backdoor flush draw, it's so hard for you to have after leading flop turn.
It looks like Gary's gonna just call with a straight, possibly.
Yeah.
Gary left with a pretty tough decision. It does look like value from Rye Guy, but you beat a 6, like 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. You have 6, 9. So I would prefer just to see a flat here from Gary and kind of call it a cooler.
Little more than a quarter of the pot.
He does make the call, and he is unfortunately going to see the bad news. You know, if Rye Guy would have just pot the flop, pot the turn, pot the river, he would have been able to take all of Gary's stacks. So he really left $1,300 in dead money there that he could have won. So that's why I would prefer to just bet it that way. Let's go to the next hand. All right, we get Dustin +1 opening with King 6-4-3 triple suited. Pretty bad hand. Don't do that. Carter, or actually JL calls with Ace-7-6 with a single suit. We don't know what the other hand is. Carter calls with Ace-Jack 9-4 double suited. I do prefer just a flat here. If it was an 8 or a 7, definitely going to 3-bet. He's actually going to 3-bet this hand, and he's going to gamble. He does decide to squeeze to 225. Dustin is gambling it up with King 6-4-3, and JL, of course, you cannot fold with a connected A7 6 with a nut suit. Let's go to a flop.
No one, very few people who I consider good players would be raising ace jack 9-4.
Flop is ace 4, ace 3, 5 with 2 clubs. Now you got to be really worried about someone having an ace with a nut flush draw.
Because Carter's post flop is so strong.
And let's see what JL decides to do. I think if you're JL, you know, you're really not scared of anything at this point. I would just prefer to check. Try to get other lower flush draws to bet, or hands that you dominate to check back and potentially cooler them on later streets. I don't like a bet here. He does decide to bet pot. I don't really know what he's trying to protect from. If someone does have him beat, they're not going to fold. Right, so I do prefer a check. But he decides to bet pot. I feel like he's just clicking buttons.
If they were deeper...
Now Carter has a real tough decision with a gut shot, with top pair and a bunch of overs for potential 2 pair outs. I would just prefer to fold here, right? Because someone who's going to bet, they're going to have ace 3, ace 5, top pair with nut clubs, top pair with clubs that just dominate you, and heavy beat. So I would prefer to see a fold here.
Say if he had the ace high flush draw. If he had JL's.
He's thinking, hey, I'm the one that 3-bet. Don't bet me off this pot. This is my pot. So I feel like he's going to get in here, and he is going to. What is he going to do here? He's going to raise it up to $1,200, and obviously JL is in there with his hand, and Carter is not going to like it. Let's check out what the equities are once we see JL's hand.
Ace high flush combo draw, but
Carter might actually be ahead because JL might have like an 8 in his hand, ace 7, 6, 8, ace 7, 6, 4. If he has ace 7, 6, 4, obviously he is not looking good because JL would have a wrap with a nut flush draw.
He thinks he has any kind of equity. He knows he doesn't.
Turn is a jack, best absolute card for Carter.
So
he turns 2 pair. What did JL have?
Because he was the raiser, and because of JL's stack depth, there's pretty much no scenario where JL has a set ace. So that's also why he's willing to get in there.
All right, come on, show what JL had, you guys. Come on. Okay, well, it doesn't really matter because Carter got there. He must have had 3 unders with his nut flush draw. Bink. All right, let's go to the next hand. All right, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. I think everyone just... Oh, Ben pots from under the gun +1 with Jack 10, 9, 7, triple suited. In a very, very loose game, I would prefer just to flat, or maybe even give it up, right? A ton of hands are going to call you that's going to have you dominated, and you're going to be out of position versus 5-way players, plus you don't even have a nut suit. So I would prefer just to flat that or just give it up.
So looks like Dustin
in the live stream, I'm definitely going to call.
Here with the King Jack 9-7 double suit.
And we get Dustin 3-bet potting with King Jack 9-7 single suited, double suited. I do like it. I do like it from the hijack. You got position on most people. Everything's connected and highly connected as well. 2 flush draws. Let's go. And Ben is dominated by Dustin's hand with Jack 10, 9, 7. He decides to come in. JL, don't expect him to fold King, Queen, 8, 4 double suited. And Carter definitely got to come in with Ace, Queen, 7, 3 with a single suit, closing the action. And then, of course, Faisal as well with his triple suited. I don't blame that. Flop King, Jack, 8, 2 clubs. Monster flop for everyone here. Faisal has a low gut shot with a nut flush draw, although he has 3 clubs in his hand. Ben flops a middle pair with the low wrap. JL flops top and bottom pair. Carter doesn't have anything as a gut shot. Justin has top 2 with a gut shot. This is going to be some action, boys. Let's go.
A lot of combo draws available.
He's doing what he's supposed to.
Yeah, and if you're Faisal, I just like the pot. Get it in, right? You have a gut shot with a nut flush draw, so you have 3 clubs. But you're going to have equity versus almost anything. There's a bunch of dead money in the pot. 1, 2, 3, 4 players ahead of you. You could potentially get these guys to fold a lot of hands because they'd be afraid of people behind them. So I do like the pot. Get it in here. Fist pump jam if you're Faisal. Ben now in a really, really tough spot, right? With the pot size, it's tough, right? Because you're going to be up against sets draws with flush draws, so you're going to be dominated a lot of the time. Super tough spot, but in a pot so big, you might just have to gamble in here. And I do expect him to gamble. You know, at least you have a backdoor flush draw with the pair. But unfortunately for him, he's actually on a 9% equity in his hand. JL definitely got to give it up with his top and bottom. Good fold. If you're Dustin, another tough spot, right? But if you just had naked 2 pair, I would probably fold. But with the extra gut shot added and backdoor equity, I would just, you know, get it in here. These guys could have anything at this point.
Dustin knows he's ahead of Ben. Now he's just trying to determine what Faisal has.
Yeah, Ben could have hands like aces with clubs, you know, king, queen, 10-9, king 8 with clubs.
And then now Ben here in a spot.
Yeah, he knows he's ahead of Ben with that just call.
And Faisal is actually a 65% favorite in this hand because Jack, Dustin, and Ben are sharing each other's outs here, and they are all in. Ben is not going to like to see the bad news, and this is exactly why you fold a hand like Jack 10-9-7 without clubs in this spot, because people behind you, like I said, are going to have you beat such a high percentage of the time.
All in here. Probably gonna be a 10K
now,
pot.
we have a massive $7,000 pot in a 5-5-10 PLO game. This is 700 big blinds. Holy cow.
Like, there's so many hands that dominate a hand like this, especially with the clubs being on deck. Faisal has the flush draw covered. Dustin has blockers to his straight, and he's in a really bad spot. This is sad. Very unconventional call. He probably
this is going to be a massive scoop. $9,165 to a pot. Almost 1,000 big blinds, folks.
Yeah, well, Ben has a little. He has a sucker wrap, so
and Ben is not looking good. Great card for Dustin.
10 or queen, that's not a club.
Ooh, and Ben binks the river. 9% equity. He binks the miracle queen, and he gets there. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Wow, and he was like, yeah. He knew he was drawn really thin. These guys are sick running at one time.
You're really not supposed to call there.
But that, again, that is PLO, folks. That is what happens when things are running bad. Things run bad. When things are running good, you run extremely hot. All right, so hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, hit that like and subscribe button for daily hand analysis, PLO hand reviews, Texas Hold'em, and I'll be coming out the vlog real soon, coming up next month. All right, so have a good one, you guys. Until the next one, peace out.